her production business. And we're going to go ahead and introduce Cheryl Rankin, who is fit for business, ready to roll as entrepreneur of Poor Credit. So I'll hand it over to you for 10 minutes, my dear, and then we'll follow that up with a Q&A after you're done. So over to you, Miss Cheryl.
Well, thank you. I appreciate the invitation. I appreciate the opportunity. I'm Cheryl Rankin. My company is called Fit for Business, and I'm a business consultant who helps businesses grow to the next level. And I tend to compare my business to a personal trainer. We shape up your sales, we add muscle to your marketing, we tighten your budget, we make your business healthier. Whether you need a business card or a business plan or something in between, talk to me. I might not do everything, but I probably know somebody who does. So, a couple things popped in my head concerning today. And one is exactly where Tracy was going. Lots of tips and hints. But the thing that I have noticed a lot in conversations I've had with people over the past months is they're trying to do same old stuff in this new world. And they keep digging in their heels and they say, oh, I just spend more money on marketing. I just need a better graphic design. I just need a better slogan. I just need a better promotion. It's not the same world. But your clients are not the same people. And what I mean by that is if you have customers that you imagine and you say, okay, my customers own a house and they have a little bit of extra money and they want to do some renovations, and you've got this image in your head. And previously it worked. Well, today, for the past 12 months, and we're continuing to count, those same people might still own their house, might still have their job, but they're not spending their money. And the idea of when will people let you in their house? Are they hesitating because they might lose their job? They didn't lose their job, they might lose their job. And then there's other businesses that can't keep up. One lady's doing some immunity stuff and her phone's ringing off the hook. Now, honestly, her phone's ringing off the hook, but she's still only selling to 1 out of 4 people or 1 out of 10 people. Something's wrong there because her people are dying for information. They're dying for the products that help their immunity. So my whole point is, I always say, know your target, blah, 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 I can't say the words today. Know your target market as well as you possibly can. And your marketing becomes easier. Your marketing becomes less expensive and your sales become easier because you're using the words that are in somebody's head. So has anyone ever seen the ad in the newspaper and it's got somebody's hair sticking out all over the place and it has the word stressed with a big question mark? And it says, time for a massage. Well, if you have the word stressed in your head and you see the word stressed in that ad, you go, oh, that's me. Okay, that's connecting with you. Another favorite I love, there used to be a big billboard on Mavis Road, way down at the south of Mavis Road, and it said, we get the 800-pound gorilla off your back. And it was a courier company. It might have been UPS. I forget which one it was. And think about it. In some corporate office, the secretary, I guess they're now called professional admin, would have been told Friday at 5 o'clock, get this to a different city by Monday morning at 9 a.m. Well, what do you feel like? You feel like somebody just put an 800-pound gorilla on you, because if it doesn't get to there by the next business morning, they lose customers, they lose that opportunity. And so Again, it's what words are in their head. And I think the big disconnect that's happening right now during COVID is people are just saying, oh, if I just switch to online, that's all the difference. So if I had a gift store, as long as I put it online, everybody will show up and everybody will buy. But you have to remember what happens in the gift store. How many people walk in a gift store and know exactly what they're going to buy that day? Not me. I walk in the gift store, I might have an idea I want a gift for my mom's birthday. But it's pretty rare that I know exactly which thing I'm planning to buy. So I go in and I browse and I look at everything. Oh, they've got some paintings, they've got some vases, they've got some cool signs, they've got cute socks, they've got neat t-shirts, they've got all kinds of different things. And I'm looking around. But depending on how people have their website set up, I have to make a decision in advance to say, what am I looking at? I can't just browse. I can't just scroll through all the pictures. So now it's like, oh, wait a minute. What are they looking for? How do they look? Who's searching for you? Who's not? I'm going to tell you one more story. A long time ago, probably 10 years ago, I had a customer who sold refillable ink cartridges. Nobody knew what they were. Everybody was worried that it was going to cancel the warranty on your printer. He spent over $200 every month for 2 years to get 2 phone calls. So what's that? $4,800 for 2 phone calls? And then he talked to me and I said, nobody knows about your product. Why don't you have an article explaining what is the product? And every time you go to a networking event, hand out your article. Post it on social media. Pay for it to go in the newspaper as an article instead of an advertisement. It's still an advertisement, but people would read the words and understand what his product was. So I think the really big thing is trying to figure out what changed for your customers in the last year. I know for me, I need a painter. I put a snowman, big stickers on my wall for the winter holidays, knowing it needs to be painted. And of course, it damaged the wall. But I live in Mississauga. Unless I have an emergency, I really can't get a painter in yet. So it doesn't matter if the painter emails me every day. It doesn't matter if he's got a great big sale on, because I'm not ready to let him in my house. Now, he could get me on his list. And is there a way to get me on his list so that when things open up, he's got people to call who say, yes, I'm ready. But if my toilet starts overflowing, I don't want people in my house, but my toilet's overflowing. I think I'm going to make that phone call. Nobody's going to wait till we switch to yellow zone or green zone or whatever to get the overflowing toilet fixed. So there's different criterias. If I just want to switch the toilet because it's old and yucky and every time I flush it, I have to lift the lid off and fix the gadget thingies and all that stuff, I'm going to live with it until the zones change color. The more you know your target market, the easier it is to market, the less expensive it is to market, and the easier it is to do sales. And I think I hand it back to you, Tracy.
Wow, that's a shot of reality. I am full of ideas, questions, and I know the panel has a number of questions, and I'm going to hand it over to Miss Natalia, who is moderating our Q&A. Thank you, first of all. Lots of great ideas. Natalia, would you perform our Q&A, please, once you have your microphone off? Cool.
Hey, everybody. So if you do have a question for Cheryl, please raise your hand. I see that Michael already has one. So we'll start with Michael, and that would be our first question. Go ahead, Mike.
Good afternoon. Hi, Cheryl. Great. One thing you started to talk about was people putting on a website and trying to get how to get their customers more engaged, because a big part of their business is face-to-face interaction and helping the customer and talking to them. And how do they do that? Do you think most people should start switching to videos and putting that so they could actually video what's in their store and talk to them and actually give a narration of what they have and what's available and give it more of a personal feeling? Do you think that's coming in the future?
I do think that is a great idea. If things continue to be locked down and people hesitate going into stores. I know one particular lady who has a clothing store that has done extended, I'm going to use the word fashion shows from her store. And literally it's her moderating or narrating, I don't know what the correct word is, and one person trying on like a dozen outfits. And so you're not looking at them on a hanger. You're not looking at a picture of it lying down or whatever, that you're actually seeing a real person in them, but somebody describing them saying, oh, this one's really soft, and notice this one buttons up, or this one has no buttons and it sort of hangs open, whatever the description is. I do think videos could be used more, but you have to figure out who your customers are. I did check out a customer's video the other day. They did two. They did one February 8th, and as of March 25th had 8 views. It cost them big bucks. What a waste of time. And same customer did one March 1st or 2nd, and by March 25th had something like 10 views. So in their case, their customers aren't looking for the videos. And if you don't tell people about the video and you spend a lot of money on it, it's a waste. The concept is great. You just have to figure out how to take advantage of it.
So more like a combination of the two. Along with the video, you also have to promote it, and as you would anything else, so people know it's out there. Otherwise, you're right, it's useless. If people don't know it's there, it doesn't matter how much or how little you pay. And sometimes just the cheaper ones will have just a better effect than the more higher price ones, I think, because it gives more of a personality to it, not a structured, so much of a structure that the higher price ones might give.
It's more real, more genuine.
Yes, exactly.
Back to you, Natalia.
So our next question is from Marie Payne. Go ahead, Marie.
Hi, Cheryl. I mean, that was really good. It's got me thinking about some things. We have swiveled the show from real life to virtual, but still there's the problem of getting people there. We've launched a gallery on our website. It's a 3-dimensional one, so people can actually walk through the gallery. And there is an audience going there, and like over the space of a month, it would be 100 plus, but nobody's taking the step of buying I mean, it's bad enough trying to sell art in real life and normal times, but it's not making sales for the artist in particular. So I think your one big tip about knowing your audience, now it's finding where they're hanging out, I think, on the internet, like what groups they're in and so on, and sharing information there. And we're on social media a lot, but not hitting maybe the right groups there that would be looking for art.
So one of the things I would suggest is combine your 3D gallery with an event. So an event that the artist is talking or somebody interviews the artist,
Mhm.
because sometimes people appreciate that so much, they might donate to the event or donate to the gallery, and you could split that money with the artist or something. I know I have one museum that's been doing some stuff, and they've been just creating online events. And so their last event was just stories about that town. And I think they had 38 people on the call,
Mhm.
and they got something like $400 donated. The call they did the month before got $700 donated. When they do the same thing in person, they only get a dozen people, same dozen people every time. And people do the here's $2, here's $5. But because it's online, their groups are a little bigger.
Right.
And the presentation's a little longer,
Mhm.
and they're actually getting more donations. So if they did something, it could be a teaser, it could be the info about the artist, the 3D walkthrough test, like here's 5 minutes of it, and then they can go do it afterwards, and then literally use the words and say, if you like any art, consider buying it. We can figure out how to get it to you safely. But don't forget, are people nervous about losing their jobs?
Mhm.
Are people nervous about being known that they spent money on art during this crisis?
Mhm.
Could I tell my friends that I bought art during the crisis? Or my friends going to say, oh my God, what a horrible person. Everybody's focused on trying to buy food, and here she is buying art. So there's
Yeah.
lots of pieces of the
Yeah.
puzzle.
Yeah, it is a puzzle. I mean, we do some of what you're saying. We do have we change the exhibit in the gallery every month. I kind of think of it as a bricks and mortar gallery. So the exhibit changes every month. We have an opening every month on Zoom. We have an opening tomorrow for April, and luckily we have one of the artists that can take the videos, because we tape it and then, or record it, I should say. Showing my age. We record it and post that also on our website. I think the website maybe needs looking at too. There's maybe just too much or something, and people aren't getting to where we want them to go.
But my
Anyway,
parents and my in-laws use computers a little bit.
yeah,
They're the ones that are going to possibly buy art
yeah,
because they've got the money.
that's true.
They're not using computers enough to be pulled into that.
Mm-hmm. The other thing we did in the fall when you could do such things was we had an arts drive. So the artists were outside at their own homes. And we're doing that again in June, as long as we can get away with it, following all the rules and things. And people are very excited with that. So it's the virtual challenge, I think, because art is sold. I mean, they came with money in their pockets to buy when it was live outside, So anyway, thank you very much. It's got me thinking.
There you go. Back to you, Natalia.
Michael, did you have another question, or did I just forget to lower your hand?
No, I have another question.
Go ahead.
Cheryl, you just brought up a fact about older people not using the computer very much. So how can businesses reach, if their target market is the seniors or older crowd and everything going online, how can somebody's business who has them as a target market get to them?
So my example when I do some of my presentations is adult depends. And if the ad on Facebook is, do you need depends? I'm horrified. Oh my gosh, why is somebody that knows me asking me that question? But if the same ad said, do you know somebody who needs adult diapers? Then I'd be like, oh, I can pass that on to my parents. I could pass that on to my in-laws. Well, actually, none of them need it yet. But the point is, I could pass that on to whoever I think of. Same thing for any other services. So if I caught it correctly, you can pick up food at certain restaurants and drop it off, or I'm not sure what other places you pick up stuff. But if your target market's seniors, then I would put the ad out, who are you taking care of but can't get there every day? Because if I'm dropping food off to somebody 7 days a week, maybe I'd like 1 day a week off. And then you're taking care of that 1 day. So there's different ways to twist it so that the message is getting to the right people.
Thank you very much. I like that answer. Thank you.
You're welcome. Back to you, Natalia.
Hey, everybody. Does anybody else have a question? I don't see any more hands up. Nope. I think I'm like trying to figure out how to ask this question or how to kind of put it out there. I'll just go along with this. So I am coming up with an event online, and I just want to know what you think would be the best ticket agent, because like all of these events online, like a lot of us don't know how to kind of go about it. Going about it through email can be difficult because there's a lot of people to send and whatever else. So what do you feel like ticket agent wise is the best one for anybody who's starting out?
You can use PayPal, but I choose Eventbrite over PayPal because Eventbrite is an event website. And so your event actually gets a little bit of free publicity because of that. Now, saying that, you can actually grab the link for your Eventbrite, use that everywhere, in your email, in your Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, wherever you're going. But you can also use it and go in Mississauga News and create an event and put your link to your Eventbrite tickets. You can go in Snap Mississauga and do the exact same thing. So I like it. Yes, you have to pay a little bit. I forget, it's $3 every time you withdraw money. So you want to make sure you wait till you got $100 or $500 or something before you withdraw it. And the percentage is low. I forget, it was always low. It was like 2% or 3%. So if I don't have the credit card machine thingy every day, every week, so when I need something, that's what I use.
Do you feel like that is also like, do you feel like putting it through a ticket agent to also like credits your event a little bit more? Like gives a little bit more credit to it?
I don't know.
Mm.
The idea that you don't want to collect cash, you need to figure out how to get credit cards there somehow.
Oh, no, I don't mean credit cards. Like, do you feel like putting your event through a ticket agent rather than trying to organize that all on your own through email and whatever, just gives more credit to your event out in the community? Like they'll come to it.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, they'll be more like apt at coming to your event because it has like a ticket attached to it.
Credibility.
Yeah.
I think that it does add a little bit of credibility. You could still have in the words something about, e-transfers are also possible. So if e-transfers is the way you really want to go,
Yeah.
technically you could have best of both worlds. I do think the credibility is there a little bit, and the little bit of extra publicity, why not?
Thanks.
Awesome.
Back to you.
Do we have anybody else with a question? Nope. No
I
more
don't see
questions.
any hands.
Nope,
I
there's
don't
no
see any
hands up.
hands.
I was just making sure in case
Okay.
nobody knew how to raise their hand. Thank you, Cheryl, so much. That was great information, like always. Every time I've heard you speak, it's always good. It's always good.
Well, thank you.
Welcome.
So thank you very much, Natalia, for conducting that Q&A. And I know we're going to have more questions. Cheryl, as always, thank you for your expertise, your shot of reality. I like to think of that talk as something that I needed to hear, meaning how are we all adjusting today in these times? And I'd like to also remind everybody that all of the things that Cheryl's talking about is a great way to take the time that we do have right now to be very introspective in the sense, what am I doing now? What is working? And know that you have the time to make the changes and adjustments to honor your next customer base, whether it's the same customer base or whether it's a new customer base. We now have that time to do that. And we also have the resources, meaning this is the group. Come and ask, I'm struggling with ABC. How, Michael, have you gotten new customers? Because there's guaranteed whatever problem you're running into or whatever stumbling block that you might be running into, guaranteed. Cheryl's run into it before. Natalia's run into it before. Marie Payne has run into it before. And guess what? We're going to say to you, been there, done that. Here's how to do it. And since we have, so again, I want to wrap up by saying thank you, Cheryl, for your time and just being the entrepreneur, the pivoting, rolling with the punches kind of business owner that you are. You've always been that way. And, you know, I hope that we are able to reciprocate and show you that we're taking your advice to heart and through progress, through joining your, how would you like us to get in touch with you, Cheryl, if we would like to learn more and hear more about you? What's your call to action? Email info@fitforbusiness.ca.
Email's probably the best. I will put my phone number as well in the chat just in case.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you. So here's a good point, and that is when you hear from somebody who has valuable information. Dale Stoneman talked last week about, or 2 weeks ago, about Legal Shield. When there's something that's of interest to you that is on the conversation, take down the information, but we're going to try and make it as easy as possible for you to get that information, because chances are a lot of things get slipped through the cracks trying to get a hold of people. So we as entrepreneurs need to make it as easy as possible for you to push one button and get a hold of us. I need to be able to push one button, get a hold of Michael because I need food from a restaurant in a speedy time. I know now to call him for that information. I need a legal question answered. I know to now call Dale Stoneman, excuse me. Or I have a tax question. I know how to get a hold of Dwayne, the tax guy. So there's a number of ways to do that. And one of them, of course, is what we're talking about today. Use your name, your name tag, your virtual name tag that's at the bottom of your screen, to say your call to action, which is you've sold somebody on an idea of what you've said, or you've mentioned something that somebody needs, like I need a dog sitter now, not tomorrow, now. I need somebody right now. Who do I call? Sue Quinn. How do I get a hold of her? Camp K9. So Miss Sue Quinn is down here as a regular member. I'm just going to go to her for a second and ask her to unmute, because I want to finish with one of the greatest stories, I think, that has to do with guerrilla marketing. I promised to give you this story, and Sue Quinn gave me permission to give this story. Miss Sue Quinn is the owner of Camp K9. She takes care of, you want to do a little spiel? So I get it right?
Sure, we do boarding, daycare, training, grooming, wellness, and retail all in one location. And we also do theme parties, and we do a lot of rescue fundraising.
So if you have a dog, are you also taking care of cats too, Sue?
No,
Or
just
dogs?
dogs. Yeah.
Okay. So if you have a dog in need of any sort, Sue is your person to call. And she has put in her call to action Camp K9. So you see how that link just not her name, because if you look at Sue Quinn, there's a couple of them online, not just one, and there is only one in my world. So I want to get to her directly and as quickly as possible. So she has put in Camp Canine, which is the name of her company. Same idea of a name tag. But I do want to tell you about guerrilla marketing, because I was sitting at an EOPC meeting at 10 Restaurant in Port Credit, real life story. I'm sitting in a meeting with all of you guys. Some of you were there, some not. And we were starting up this entrepreneurs group, free support group. And I saw out the window on Lakeshore, a woman with a flyer in her hand and a staple gun. And she was going out to the post, every post along, and I watched her out the window, and she was stapling up flyers of her business. Now, if that's not guerrilla marketing, I don't know what is. We call that guerrilla marketing, which is the most aggressive way that you can market your business that shows the most tenacity that a guerrilla might do. And I'm using that as a metaphor for saying there's subtle marketing, there's passive marketing, there's word of suggestion marketing, there's all kinds of marketing. But when you say somebody has been a guerrilla marketer, that's the ultimate compliment, because it means that they will do whatever it takes, that they will spend their blood, sweat, and tears getting that message out of what they are offering. And that is Sue Quinn right there. She believes strongly in her business to the point that she is willing to go and put up signs. And when do you ever do that? When you think about it, when are you that not desperate, when you have that desperate need to get your word out? It's usually when you're so passionate and you are coming from the right place, which is your heart, I believe, and you are in the business for the right reason. And I knew I needed to get a hold of that lady. So I went out literally and did some guerrilla marketing of my own and tapped her on the shoulder and said, you need to come with me, my dear. And then she became a friend of Entrepreneurs of Port Credit. So that, I'm so glad to see that you're back, still doing the same, offering your love and compassion to dogs. I've seen her do it in real life person. A lot of you have. And when your heart and soul is in a business, it will survive. It will absolutely survive. It doesn't mean you're not going to run into roadblocks. But also I want to end with, it's 1 o'clock, but I do want to end with this reminder. We are all pioneers in this time. Think about it. In 10 years and 20 years, what are we going to be talking about this year and last year about how we got through it? And it's going to be about how we got through it. It's going to include these words: love, compassion, togetherness, stick-to-itiveness, if that's a word, hope, all of the great things that we do for each other. And we will get through this. And thank you for being here. Thank you for our guest speakers, our people that the glue that keeps this group together. Please keep coming back. And if you are looking for anything, write down your problem this week, write down your hurdle, and come back next week and tell us. And guess what? We'll do like a mastermind, and we'll give you, like, everybody on the call can give you ideas, much like today Cheryl did with her idea generating that part of the brain that is going to end in only one thing, and that's solution. So I'm going to wrap up the meeting. Thank you again for being here. We're going to keep this room open for